Back with more Heartstopper for the last time, certainly for a while, anyway. And yeah, this is it. Season 2, episode 8. This is the finale, called Perfect. Will it be a perfect finale in more than just name? We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I'm very excited, very nervous. Just because we know we're getting season 3. It got renewed at the same time as season 2 for a third season. So they could end it on a great big stinking cliffhanger if they wanted to. And I'm scared they're going to. I really don't know what to expect. Apart from probably a prom would make sense. And yeah, just there's a lot of shit that needs addressing in this one. And I think it's a bit of a longer episode as well. I think it's like 10 minutes longer than most of them have been. So there's certainly going to be plenty of time to do that in a show that's already very well paced anyway, with fitting stuff into episodes. So I have no worries about the fact that the things that need addressing will be addressed. But yeah, I'm very excited to see how this season's going to end, because I've absolutely adored it. I really do think they've somehow managed to step up even more than season 1, which was already brilliant. And just how the story and the characters have kind of grown and changed this season. It's been really well done, and I'm really hoping they kind of, stick the landing with the finale. And then we have a very long ass wait, I'm sure, until season 3, which I would guess is going to be coming next year. I guess it kind of depends on maybe writers' strikes and stuff like that, and how long it takes for studios to just pay their fucking writers what they deserve. But that's a completely different topic, isn't it? But anyway, I'm very excited to see how this is all going to play out, what's going to happen. Darcy's certainly left in a very unfortunate place given the last episode. I feel like the whole stuff with Nick and his dad and his family, I felt like that kind of got a little wrap up in the last episode, so I don't think that's going to be the focus here. I think the focus is certainly going to more lean into Charlie and his side of things and his eating disorder and stuff like that. And Elle still needs to decide about whether she's going to go to this art school for sixth form or not. I'd like to think she will, but I guess we'll see. And obviously Isaac, I think, is kind of starting the tentative steps to maybe realising he's asexual, so I think that should probably get some attention in this episode as well. But yeah, it's all culminating in what I can assume to be a prom. And then we'll just have to wait and see how they set things up for season 3 and beyond. It's going to be interesting, but I've loved this season so much. I have no doubt I'm going to love this finale as well. So yeah, I guess without any further ado, let's just dive right in. I love how excited he is to post these. Actually. The sequel to Love, Actually.
This is the best my life has ever been. I don't have to hide my amazing boyfriend anymore. Do you want to be my girlfriend?
Was that a serious question?
Yes.
Yes! I want to be your girlfriend.
Why are you being weird about it?
I'm not being weird.
I love them. Oh god, where is she?
Where's
She didn't go to Tara's.
This is probably just slept in.
Imogen said she hasn't got any of the food yet, but she's definitely going to Asda in a couple of hours. Not at all.
Avengers assemble. Oh, look at them.
Guys, I'm having a breakdown.
Mood. On the clothes? That is brutal.
I'm invite him tonight.
Oh, I love that those two are best friends.
So many more chaperones.
Yes.
No.
I love that.
I didn't know you were gay, Nick. What? I'm bi, actually, but yeah.
Well, I think you guys look so cute together. I told you.
Okay.
Do you want to stop and get something to eat? And walk to the shop? I'll eat later. I had a really late breakfast.
Oh,
You
Charlie.
Chris?
How different that is to when he offered him a chip in season 1.
And the bullying, all the things that happened to him in the past, they all really have affected him.
Yeah.
And he still carries it all with him.
He still thinks he's not good enough.
My dad died when I was 12, and I think a lot of the reason I get so freaked out about losing my friends and losing out is because losing him was just
Fuck me. Jesus. Ooh. Bloody hell, Tao. This is what I wanted at the start of the season. This is great.
Yeah, Charlie never really talked to me about it.
Me neither.
He kept it all in. Took it out on himself. Oh, look at him. It's literally 11th Doctor cosplay. I love it.
She looks so good.
Where's Darcy? Oh, God. I am stressed. That is my name now. Oh, don't do that. That's so sad. She really never had that. That's... Oh, God.
And what are your intentions with my hour? I'm joking. I'm joking. You look... You're so... Hello.
Suspenders!
I can't believe Nick's showing off his boyfriend, but none of you managed to bring a girl.
Who's next?
Did you bring a girl, Harry?
It's so embarrassing just standing there on my own. Right, Colin, the four of us are getting artery.
Aww.
Yes.
Sorry if we made you feel weird about telling us.
Can't believe Nick's the first out of us in a relationship. Yeah, man.
I could easily have a girlfriend any day.
Yeah.
Is Tara Jones single?
Does he just never know?
How do you talk to someone about something that they don't want to talk about?
Nick's thinking that himself.
Maybe you just have to try.
Aww.
I'm gonna go to Lambert.
Yeah. They'll work through that. Oh my god.
I was going to suggest dinner and drinks next time. Next time.
Aww. What was that? For someone who loves reading, imagine having a book that kind of teaches you about who you are. That must be really cool for him. Ah, is she beyond an ally? It's like when they found each other at the party when they first kissed.
Can we leave? We've been so obsessed with the idea of coming out. It's like we've forgotten why we wanted to do it in the first place. It's not for
That's true, let's just be together.
I just want to have a fun night with you and our friends. Yeah, I want that too.
Where's Tara?
She went to find you.
She's gone to the house. Oh shit.
She had another one of her tantrums last night. Over an outfit, can you believe? Your own mother can't tell you the truth about an outfit, who can?
God.
She's like a lesbian. She'll realise she was in the wrong, she'll come straight back.
If I find her, I'll ask her to let you know she's okay.
Thanks then, bye.
And to say fuck off. Oh, I love them all.
You didn't feel as confident about being a lesbian as I did. And I wanted to be that person for you to help you through your journey.
But you are that person. I'm not even out to my own parents.
I don't think I ever will be. Sometimes my mum makes me hate myself.
Then she's your mother, she's not your mum.
Then you said I love you.
What if that person doesn't even exist?
So
Oh, God, that's so
it's good to
sad.
see it back.
She thinks you love someone who's not real.
Now I'm seeing the other half. And I still love you.
Are you sure?
Aww.
I love you.
I love you.
I love you.
I love you. I love you.
I love you both.
I love you. I love you.
In a non-weird platonic way.
Did I ruin your prom with it?
It was kind of boring.
Someone Sahar just went, ugh. Oh, I just adore them. They finally got him to dance. Oh, I'm so glad they're friends. I love the parallel to this for their sleepover in the first episode.
Mum will get annoyed if you're late.
This is how they were on the beach.
You never told me about the bullying. What that was like.
We didn't need to talk about that.
But he wants to.
Is everything fine? You don't have to be perfect with me.
Oh.
It went on for so long that I think I started to believe what they were saying. Made me really hate myself. So much so. I used to cut myself sometimes.
Oh my god.
Sorry.
Don't say sorry.
Yes, man. Can you promise to tell me if it ever gets that bad? I just don't want to know you or burden you.
You're the most interesting person he's literally ever met.
I've done so many things that were scary in the past few months because you were there, holding my hand.
Oh, stop. Stop.
And I want to be that for you too. Okay?
Jesus.
I love your hair so much. I really need to go.
I love your eyes.
For sake.
I love.
Oh, for God's sake. Can't believe I'm saying this, but for God's sake, Olivia Colman. He's collecting Nick's hoodies like they're Infinity Stones. When they kissed before. I already missed the show, and it hasn't even finished yet. That was a lot, but I'm glad they had that talk. Oh no! Oh God. Okay, I did get a bit invested in that one and just stopped writing notes. So I'm probably going to forget some things. So apologies for that. If I do, I might make like a series 2 like roundup video or something like that. Might do that anyway if I think of other things I want to say. But so yeah, apologies in advance if I miss like some obvious things. But yeah, that's a thing that happened. I mean, the show just draws you in with its wholesomeness, and then it keeps you attached with more wholesomeness, and then before you know it, it stabs you in the heart and moves the knife around a bunch, and you're still like, thank you, Heartstopper, for killing my soul and my heart and my dreams. That was an amazing finale. I really, really loved it. An amazing end to the season. Not as terrible a cliffhanger as I was fearing as well. It was just like, is he going to send that? I don't think he will. I feel like that's something you know, they've talked about how Charlie loves like the perfect scenario, and I think sometimes that will be to his detriment, because if it doesn't quite reach his expectations, he'll then blame himself for why it wasn't perfect. And he's talked about now what that might lead to. So yeah, I feel like because he'd want it to feel like the perfect moment and stuff, I think he'd want to actually say it to him, like speak the words first before he wrote them. But you know, if that's the only way you could say it, it's also valid. So I guess we'll see. In season 3, whenever that comes, God, it's gonna be a long, long wait for that. I think. Hopefully we do get it next year. Season 1 was only last year, right? We didn't have to like wait a whole year. I don't think. Well, it might have been over a year by the time it came out. I feel like season 1 came out earlier last year than season 2 came out this year, I think. So we did have like over a year to wait, I think, for this season. But my God, was it worth it? I loved season 2 even more than season 1. Definitely loved how the story progressed. I loved certainly the more ensemble feel I think it had. I feel like they really focused on everyone a great amount, while I think you could still keep Nick and Charlie as like the centre of the show. You know, they were kind of like the heart of the group and stuff. Their relationship brought this group of people together as like the friendship group they've become. So yeah, and obviously the last like third of the episode was just Nick and Charlie. So I think it kept the focus on their relationship and developed it in a wonderful way, while simultaneously giving the others lots to do as well, and kind of stepped back from characters like Harry, who pissed me off. So I appreciate that. Harry had a few little bits and pieces and shitty moments being Harry, but I don't think he was as much of a presence in this season as last, because he's not important to their story, because he's going to be a bitter old man. So yeah, and we didn't get any Ben, so that was like a goodbye to Ben, I think, that last episode. So did make sense how they treated that last scene with him in the previous one. Where to begin? I really do feel like I've skipped out on everything. I will write that down so I don't forget to talk about that while I remember. Okay. Right, where do we start? Okay, I guess some more like the backgroundy stuff, just to check that off. The teachers. I'm glad we got something with Mr. J, Mr. Farouk. There is going to be the start of something there. Hopefully that's something season 3 can continue to focus on. Just sort of little background pieces for them this season, much like I think how it played out in the comics from what I remember. I literally read the comics straight after season 1 had come out. My friend Amy was like, you need to just read the graphic novels. So I bought all the ones that they were, and I just read them all, literally in like a day. I think I read them all. So it has been like over a year now since I've read them. So my memory is a bit sketchy, but I think it played out pretty similarly, that relationship, but with some more wholesome moments. And I really, really enjoyed the addition with the romance between the teachers in this one. And Captain Singh there as well, being like, text him for God's sake, invite him over. I like that she was playing matchmaker. So that was great. And just see like, however brief, like the friendship between teachers as well. That was nice, because the only teachers we've really seen get proper focus in the show have obviously then been romantically paired. So it was nice to see like a friendship between the teachers like that, however brief, but still cool to see them, and I'm glad that there seems to be a future for that. So it's cool that was addressed after a bit of an absence in the last one. So that was great. I wish we'd seen more of Imogen in this one, and maybe a bit more of Sahar as well. But I can't be too mad at some of these things that I'm left wanting more of, because we know we're getting a season 3, so there will be focus for them. But there was a little thing with Imogen and Sahar there. I feel like I don't know how else you would read that moment other than like, oh, okay. So maybe, they did kind of set up like there was a history between them already, maybe for reasons. There is no I'm an ally explanation for the way Imogen was looking at Sahar playing the guitar, I don't think. So, maybe I am misinterpreting it, but that might be something they're setting up for next season, maybe. And that would then promise more Imogen and Sahar, which would be cool. So it was nice to meet Sahar in this season. I wish we'd gotten more focus on her, but I imagine season 3 might be room for her to get her own story. Because it was, again, very crowded this season with storylines, but so well paced that it managed all of them brilliantly. But I don't think there was really room for much else. So, I think it's okay for things to have slow burns. Otherwise, it's just going to be the plot's over. Like, well, now what do we do? So yeah, I'm excited for a bit more of that. But, Imogen still got like a classic moment where she was like, woohoo, or something really awkwardly, which was great. I really liked her. I'm glad they kind of really lent into her character a lot this season and kind of made her sort of member of the main group, and gave her some decent stuff to do. So that was great. I've loved Imogen a lot this season, considering I think she's exclusive to the show. I really love her character a lot, and hopefully we get a bit more from Sahar in the future as well. And then Isaac, I will say I wish there was more focus on Isaac and his story, but again, the promise of season 3, I feel like he's going to be like a shining star of next season. I've liked the kind of slow burn with his story. I was kind of hoping it was leading to a bit more in the finale, like maybe just another chat with James about something. I'm thinking maybe, this is me, and reading the book and stuff. But we saw James dancing, I think, briefly, but he didn't get anything more than that. I think that would have been a nice bit of maybe some kind of more closure. I guess they did kind of get that in the last episode, but I would have liked a bit more focus on Isaac. But, you know, it was already an extended episode, it was, so I guess there wasn't a lot of time. So as long as season 3, I think, leans into that and kind of makes that a big focus, I'm more than happy with what we got. And it was great that season 2 did focus on him a lot more than season 1 did, and actually, you know, gave a lot to his character. So, yeah, I love the idea of him finding himself through, like, reading a book, because that's, like, the thing he loves. I think, you know, he doesn't really know how he feels about a lot of things, but he knows how he feels about books. So for him to kind of maybe find his identity through reading a book like that on the asexuality and stuff, I think there's quite a lot of, you know, there's some poetry to that I think is really nice. So hopefully that's going to be a big part of his journey in season 3. Looking forward to seeing more of him. Well, so I feel like surely there was more to this. I feel like I've already talked about most of the side characters. Tao and Elle. Let's talk about Tao and Elle. Again, I think we all knew that Elle was wanting to go to Argent. No, not Argent's her surname, isn't it? What's the name of the school? Does it begin with R? I feel like it begins with AR. It's kind of similar to her surname. The art school. Elle Art School. I think, yeah. They might as well have just confirmed it the last one, I think. But, yeah, I think we all knew where that was going. And Tara's been like, I know. So I think that's still maybe a bit more of a holdover for next season with those two. For now, I think they can still just enjoy the time they have together. And, you know, I love them dancing together at the prom. I love his reaction to seeing her all dressed up for the prom. Seeing Elle's dad. We briefly met Elle's mum a few episodes back. Dad, what a joker. My God. So, yeah, it was great to kind of... Again, this season's been great at introducing lots of the parents to us as well, however briefly. And I like Tao just, you know, laughing out of fear for the wrath of Elle's dad, but he was just messing with him. So that was great. And yeah, making it official as well, officially boyfriend and girlfriend. So I'm guessing next season's really going to be about the challenges awaiting, you know, when Elle moves away to go to the school. You know, and, you know, can they face doing like a long distance kind of deal? How are they going to survive that? What's next for Tao? You know, what is his passions that he's going to pursue in sixth form and beyond? I guess we'll have to wait and see. So much potential for them in season 3 that I'm excited for. But I've really loved their story in season 2. So glad they've kind of worked it out and navigated into a relationship. You know, important representation for both of them as well. And yeah, I really love them together. I think Will and Yasmin have such great chemistry. And I'm just happy for the characters. So that was great. Like that Elle has kind of made this decision for herself. I think that was a big theme of this episode, was making things, you know, making decisions for yourself. Like the decision to like leave the prom, because, you know, and they wanted Nick to come out so that they could spend time together as a couple. So that's what they really wanted to do. And all of that. So that was great. And while we're talking about Tao, fucking hell, that scene, I'm getting emotional again just thinking about it. That scene when he opened up to Nick about his dad dying. Fuck me. Jesus. I still feel like I'm recuperating from a lot of losses in the family, and they were literally like 5-6 years ago now. I had kind of a 1-2 punch really with some losses in the family. So yeah, I know the hole it leaves in your heart. Like, you really are never the same when you lose someone you love that deeply. I can't even imagine losing my dad. Like, holy fuck. I don't want to think about that really. So, and to go through that at 12, like, man. So in the grand scheme of how old they actually are, you know, that's probably only like a couple of years really before Heartstopper started. You know, it's probably like maybe 3, maybe 4 years. I don't know exactly how old Tao is. I think he's in the same year as Charlie, isn't he? Maybe a year above. So I think at most he's like 15, maybe 16. Because Charlie was 14 at the start of Heartstopper, wasn't he? And In season 1, he turned 15, and this is, I guess, kind of the same year, so they're not like another year older. So it could only been a couple of years since he lost his dad. And I know they talked about the fact that his dad was dead with his conversation with his mum in episode 2, so we did know that, but him actually talking about it, and maybe that's the reason why he clings to people so deeply and fears losing them so deeply because of losing his dad. I love that he kind of had that moment, and the fact that it was Nick who he was talking about that to. I just love that. I think I mentioned in season 1, like I knew ultimately Nick and Tao would get along because, you know, one of the main things they have in common is how much they both love Charlie. So of course that's going to ultimately bring them together, and I love that it kind of has. And you know, them hugging at the end, that as they were all leaving Nick's house, and like, they're just good friends now. I love that journey for them. You know, I think Tao's still a bit unsure of Nick at the start of the season, and then they had that really nice scene in Paris. I can't remember what episode about it was. It was like 5 or 6, I think. Tao kind of saying, you know, I thought you hated me, when he was the ultimate Nick hater in season 1. Like that, you just hated him, Tao, no. And Nick kind of saying all the things like, you love your friends so fiercely and openly and loudly, you don't care about what people think. So, you know, the building blocks of their friendship have been clear, and I really, really love seeing that friendship blossom in the show, especially because behind the scenes, like Kit and Will, you see them online together, like they get along so well in real life. So it's nice to see their characters kind of form a friendship on screen. So yeah, that scene messed me up. That was beautifully done, and just a great kind of exploration of Tao's character and why he is the way he is, and trying to, I guess, embrace that potential for loss again, and knowing when people leave, it's not his fault, and it is a fact of life that not everyone in your life is always going to be there forever. But you know, him and Elle are clearly very committed to each other, so I have no worries about their relationship long term. So we'll see. Season 3, please prove me right. So yeah, that was a beautiful scene as well. I love that. I do like that, you know, especially with a longer episode like this finale was, they can just pause sometimes and just, you know, have some nice character beats like that. So love that. So glad we got a bit of that relationship and that friendship forming, which is what I've wanted for a very long time, since even season 1. So that was great. What else could we talk about next? What else messed me up emotionally? I mean, I guess just like the friendship group altogether. I did love the idea of like Charlie and Nick's kind of realization that, you know, they kind of, in worrying about Nick coming out and wanting it to happen so badly, they lost why they wanted that to happen in the first place, just so they could be open with each other. You know, they've always been at their best and always had their moments when it's just been the two of them. So, you know, Nick coming out just means they can still have moments, you know, out in the open and be together openly and stuff, but you know, where they've really have managed to shine in the past has just been on their, you know, their one-on-one moments, or just hanging out, you know, like the main group of friends, and that's what they wanted. So I love that they kind of all then left and formed their own little prom once Darcy showed up and everything. So yeah, that was great. I love this group of characters. It's just such an amazing kind of set of people, both on and off screen. You know, the cast seem incredibly like incredible people as well, and that was lovely. Just the idea of them abandoning what is always, Prom is always underwhelming. I think in real life, you always kind of big it up in your head, and Prom was fine, but you know, I would have happily just gone home and gotten drunk and chilled with my friends. You know, some of my favourite days ever have just been getting drunk with my friends. So yeah, that kind of definitely rang true. The kind of like, oh, so this is Prom, huh? You talk about it for years and then it just comes and goes, and that's that. Also didn't help the food at our Prom wasn't very good. I think they kind of messed up somewhere, so it is what it is. But yeah, that kind of hit me as well, that whole sequence of them just leaving. So I kind of wish our friends had done that. In fear of getting too deep, feel free to skip ahead about 20 seconds. One I went to, because again, chronically alone, I went to prom with like just a group of friends. It was like a whole group of us who went. And one of them is actually no longer with us. So, you know, I would have loved to just have spent that night just chilling at one of our houses and just having a chill time together, making memories like that instead of, you know, being at an okay prom. So, yeah, that kind of a whole hit hard as well in a very different way, and one they obviously didn't anticipate. But, yeah, it was a nice moment to see, again, just how far the group have come. Lots of parallels to, like, the beginning of the season when they were all leaving Charlie's house. And then this time they were all leaving Nick's house, and, you know, some of them were hugging when they hadn't hugged before, and this time Nick and Charlie could stay there together, share a bed again. All of that was great, and the way Nick and Charlie were kind of like hugging on the bed, and they were cuddling like they did on the beach at the end of season 1. They had a shot of like Charlie lifting his feet when him and Nick were kissing, which they obviously did in season 1 as well. Just after their like rain kiss, I think it was. So, you know, a few throwbacks that I like that they put them in there every now and again to just showcase how far the characters have come. You know, it's a better way of them just writing in the script, and like they turn to the camera and say, "Look how far our characters have developed." You know, you can just show it, and that's much more effective. So that was great. And then Tara and Darcy, I felt so awful for Darcy, and again, very realistic that there's not really any closure for that in terms of Darcy and her parents. Like, she might just never come out to them. Her mum's always going to be an arsehole. So yeah, that was so sad that she just stayed at a park. I thought like, oh, she'll go to Tara's or something, but she just stayed at a park. And that little moment, like, she left because she saw like a little girl with her mum having the relationship she'll never have with hers. Fucking hell. Really, really sad and awful. But again, it was nice to kind of sit down, like that scene with Tao and Nick, just kind of really diving into Darcy's character. And, you know, again, I've mentioned before, I think Darcy and Tao have been very similar in how they showcase their emotions or hide their feelings. So the fact that this episode kind of broke down both of their walls and really explained why they are the way they are, I don't think that's too much of a coincidence. That was really nicely done. And Darcy just thinking like, how can Tara love me when, you know, this person that she apparently loves doesn't exist? Because when I'm at home, I'm not out to my parents. I'm incredibly shy and quiet, and, you know, I'm not confident at all. You know, I think she maybe more so just becomes more herself when she's not at home. So, you know, of course that's going to be one that Tara loves. But she also said, you know, now I have seen this other side of you and I still love you. And now Darcy can say it back without a bottle of vodka or whatever the hell that nasty stuff was in Paris. So that was a lovely kind of bit of closure for them, finally getting that I love you, strengthening that relationship, showing the maturity of it as well, showing that, you know, they're going to be there for each other no matter how tough things are, really reading into Darcy's character and showing, you know, why she's the way she is, why she's never brought Tara home and everything like that. It's just, you know, they've made them even more, like, human, which I love. I love that this show isn't afraid to show people's scars. Certainly in terms of, like, I guess Charlie's story as well. So yeah, that was a beautiful moment between those two, and I'm really glad they got so much of the focus in the finale, because it has kind of been that slow burn in their, you know, their storyline this season. So to see it really paid off and get a big focus and, you know, a big scene of just the two of them, and that was great. I love them being like, oh, you just need to practice saying I love you. That was a very nice scene. Yeah, and great chemistry between those two as well. So yeah, love them. I'm excited to see what the future holds for them in season 3. You know, is there going to be some sort of story with Darcy and her parents? Is she going to come out to them? Is she not? Is there going to be something completely unexpected in terms of their storyline next season? We'll have to wait and see. But it was kind of, you know, Tara and Darcy's story is very much, I think, about them, not about the elements outside of their lives, like their parents and stuff. Kind of like, I think Nick and Charlie's stories certainly kind of go that way a bit. Tao's story in this episode certainly did as well. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But I'm glad they kind of really showcased the strength of their relationship in this one. That was really, really well done. So yeah, love those two, obviously. And then, yeah, just everything with Nick and Charlie. I think we just got Olivia Colman's voice in this one. I don't think we actually saw her. So, again, she's very busy. But we got her in like 2 episodes, I think, this season, which isn't bad in terms of getting Olivia Colman on a set. I imagine she's quite high in demand. So, you know, it was nice to get a bit of her. And of course she came in at exactly the wrong moment with the I love you. But we already talked about that. Be fine. Obviously, they love each other. So that might be a big thing for them next season. I know they've kind of done the whole struggling to say I love you thing with Tara and Darcy this season, so I doubt it'll be like a carbon copy of that story for Nick and Charlie. I certainly think as the storyline is maturing more and more, I do think you know, Charlie's eating disorder and you know, his kind of state of mind, I think that's going to be more so the story. I definitely found that with the comics. I think it starts off very much as Nick's story, and I think it definitely shifts and becomes Charlie's story a bit later on. And I think we're kind of seeing that shift now. So, you know, I think that's quite nice. You know, the end of season 1, the last shot was of, I think it was like Nick and Charlie on the beach, I think. I think that was the last shot of season 1. And the last shot of this season, you know, was just Charlie on his own. So I think they are kind of showcasing that shift. And obviously Nick is still a prominent character. But it does seem like the show's going down that similar route where, you know, Nick's kind of personal journey has, for now, you know, reached the kind of main point that's going to get at. Now, you know, we'll see what's going on with Charlie. And again, I like the realism that, you know, there's no closure for Nick and his dad. You know, it's not even mentioned in this one. You know, David's still just a prick. You know, that's the kind of realism that I'm glad they don't tie everything up in a neat bow. Some things obviously get resolved and it's all okay, but life still goes on for arseholes, unfortunately. So I did like the realism behind that for sure. Then yeah, they're obviously out in the open and they can be open with each other now, and I like that a lot. Charlie's still having, you know, Nick's still having his concerns for Charlie about his eating disorder, and you know, I did like the little scene with Nick and Tara at prom. Tara was kind of like, how do I even talk to Darcy? How do I talk to, you know, someone I care about something I know they don't want to talk about? And obviously Nick was going through that same thing, but he just said, you have to try. And he tried in Paris, and that got Charlie to open up about his eating disorder and everything. And, you know, he kind of tried it again. And I'm very glad they had a very adult conversation there. As much as that scene was devastating, and so well acted. Joe and Kit are truly phenomenal, and they're still so young. Like, this is Joe's first professional job, and like, he's that good. It's insane. So yeah, that whole last section, really, that's kind of all I can think about. I think that's why I might have forgotten some major things, but yeah, I was lost in that whole last sequence, really, because my god, that scene was so well acted. Hopefully you'll be able to hear it in the edit over the whirring of my computer, trying and struggling to record while also playing Netflix at the same time. Because when the shows get a bit quiet, it can sometimes be hard to hear. So hopefully it's fine. I guess we'll find out. But yeah, oh man, that scene, so well acted, so well written. I feel like I did remember something about Charlie self-harming. I wasn't sure. I remembered the eating disorder a lot clearer. But I think I did remember something about self-harm. Again, you know, an important topic to discuss. And I think what Heartstopper's done so well is it spent these 2 seasons giving you 1,000,001 reasons to love Charlie and see why he is as loved as he is. And then be like, even someone that's so obviously lovable and should be loved can feel like that about themselves. And, you know, that's something I've been going through and struggling with, those kind of thoughts and stuff like that for the past couple of years. Never to Charlie's extent, thankfully. So that was kind of hitting me hard, and just so well done. Just this idea of, you know, someone just so convinced of their worthlessness. It's just so sad that, you know, you can think like that. And admittedly, it's kind of hypocritical of me to say that when I constantly think like that. I know I do. But, you know, we're still talking about context of Charlie here. So, yeah. it's just a gut-wrenching reveal, and Nick's reaction to it as well. He just, what do you say to that? But I did like that Nick kind of got down on Charlie's level and kind of sat with him and, made him promise, like, if he ever gets that bad again, to tell him. And hopefully, they've made promises and they've tried to keep them to each other so far. Hopefully that will be a promise he can keep. Because, again, just because he's told Nick about that past doesn't mean it's all hunky-dory and fine now. Doesn't mean he's never going to feel like that again. But hopefully he knows now that he can tell someone about it. So yeah, I love how they have really nicely woven in over the last 2 seasons so many reasons and circumstances to why Charlie would end up feeling the way he has, and Nick and Tao were talking about that as well. So many things that Charlie was just blaming himself for, so much bullying that he ended up just believing what they were saying, believing all those lies and hating himself for it. And again, I think he can control what he does to himself, both in terms of starving himself or harming himself. So yeah, it's awful to think like he was 14 at the start of the show, so a 14-year-old boy, maybe even a 13-year-old boy, was feeling like that and doing that to himself. And obviously Charlie is a fictional character, but I'm sure there are plenty of people who were Charlie's age who did do that, and still probably some will still struggle with that and go through that, and people of all ages will also struggle and go through that. So that's why I think Heartstopper is a show for everyone. I think no matter how old you are or how you identify, where you're from, who you love, I really do think there is some element of Heartstopper that you can and will connect with. And if there's not, it's just a bloody great show that's very wholesome, and you can just enjoy that. It does have moments like this scene, and it definitely got a lot more like, oh shit, that's hitting home, that's real, in season 2. And based on what I remember, I'm sure that will continue. But I think season 2 has a great balance to kind of prepare you for like more of maybe this in season 3 and beyond. But yeah, that was just an amazing whole sequence. I'm glad they kind of really stuck to their guns and really went with Charlie's story. And I think Joe has and will continue to do such an amazing job with, such a powerful, awful, heartbreaking, bittersweet story on his shoulders. So it sounds weird to say, I'm looking forward to seeing where that goes. I'm looking forward to seeing more of that story. But it's just because I think the show's doing it so well, and it is a very needed topic to discuss. So yeah, it was a lot, but so well performed. And obviously that they kind of, I think, returned a bit to the wholesomeness. I think they kind of knew like, okay, this is still quite heavy. Let's lighten the tone a slight bit with the whole like nearly saying I love you thing. Are they going to say it? That is to me the logical next step in their relationship, because obviously they're head over heels for each other. And I do truly think Nick and Charlie they will go down in history, I think, as one of the most important, for sure, TV couples of recent years, if not ever, but one of the best as well. I remember Shadowhunters coming out at the time, and I remember, Magnus and Alec were like this huge monumental thing, as they should be, because again, it's another great pairing from a show I miss very, very much, taken way too soon with Shadowhunters. But there was a relationship between a bisexual man, a gay man, kind of really making waves and won awards for its representation. I think they did such a great job with that, and I'm glad that that kind of representation is continuing on with relationships like Nick and Charlie, and Tao now, Tara and Darcy. Isaac and himself is also a very important relationship that he's working on. All of that, I think it's so cool that so amazing shows are doing that and getting out there, and people kind of growing up who might be 14 years old and feeling the way Charlie's feeling, they can see that. Imagine how that would affect them and how much that would mean to them to see that. That's going to save lives, having characters like this. you can moan about like, oh, everything's woke nowadays, or you know, oh, is everyone gay? Because their TV shows are starting to accurately portray how many LGBTQA plus people there are. But shows like this are going to keep people living, and they are going to save people's lives, because it will bring them hope. That's why they're needed. You don't have to watch it, you don't have to understand it like a lot of the parents in this show, but I think you should just accept it and just not be a dickhead. It's I find it personally, might be a controversial take, I find it quite easy to just not be a prick. But that's just me. So yeah, let people enjoy things, and I certainly have enjoyed the hell out of Heartstopper this season. It's going to be a long ass wait for season 3. Who knows when we're going to get it? I think Alice did give an interview recently. Obviously with the strikes and stuff going on, the cast haven't been able to promote the show, which has been a shame. It's only like pre-recorded interviews and stuff, but they can't post on Instagram or Twitter or anything really. I know Joe's been a bit sneaky about that, and I have very much enjoyed his Instagram posts, being like, just posting some photos just for no reason whatsoever. That was very funny. But yeah, I think Alice was kind of talking about, I think like season 3 is like at least being worked on, like written, or it is already written. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe we get some filming for it early next year. But we're just going to have to wait and see how long stuff goes on for and when. I would imagine we get season 3 next year for sure. I imagine, given its continued success and its positive reception, I'm sure Netflix will probably be keen once all the strike action stuff's sort of settled. I imagine they'll be quite keen to get season 3 done and out there and made, and hopefully we get like a season 4 and beyond. I believe like in terms of like the published comics, I think there'll be 6 volumes all in all. I know volume 5's coming out in December this year, and that was originally going to be the final one, but I think there is now going to be a 6th and final one. So I think next season will probably... this was like probably volume like 3 and 4 maybe. I can't really remember that they covered here. Thereabouts. Not quite all of volume 4, I'd say. I really can't remember what they covered. I feel like season 1 maybe covered volume 1 and a bit of 2. Who can say? But there's certainly, I think I could see it 4, maybe 5 seasons at a push worth of content from the comics if they go off that. So hopefully, we'll still have another couple of years of Heartstopper yet. We'll have to wait and see. But we're definitely getting season 3, which is great news, because this is an amazing, important show. I've absolutely loved reacting to season 2. I hope you've enjoyed the reactions. I've gone on for so long, yet again. But I am done now. We've done it. We've sorted it. And yeah, I've loved it. I'm so glad to have the show back. And I already miss it, and I've only just finished the finale. But yeah, thank you once again to everyone who has stuck with and supported the reactions to this. It's been great to kind of come back to YouTube, to such a positive community. And generally this is the best experience I've had reacting to a show. I said that after Heartstopper season 1, and that's still true for season 2. I've had so many amazing comments and stuff, not only welcoming me back, but just kind of praising my thoughts on the show and just praising the show itself as it rightfully deserves. And it's been so lovely kind of reading those comments, because there was a time where I just stopped checking comments because I didn't like what they were saying. And then obviously I kind of just stopped altogether for about 8 months. And I won't lie, I'm probably going to disappear again after this. I did get a comment asking if I was going to react to season 3 when that came out. As it stands, the answer was yes. Who knows what's going to happen in a year, but I fully intend on reacting to season 3. I would love to keep watching Heartstopper on the channel until its conclusion, whenever that comes. Hopefully in a few years from now. So we'll see. My long-term future on YouTube is still kind of up in the air. But even if I did stop altogether, which is quite likely in terms of most of the shows I'm doing, I will always come back for Heartstopper, because it's found a great place in my heart. And yeah, it's just such a wonderful show, isn't it? We all know that. That's why you're here. So yeah, I can't wait for season 3 whenever we get it, but I'm sure it'll be worth the wait. Just as season 2 was. For me, even better than season 1. Just a work of art. I've loved it. And I can't wait to see where these characters go next. That's going to be everything for now. Thank you again for supporting the reactions and your patience through the horrendous audio on episode 1 and 2. I know I got people saying, being very kind about the audio, saying it wasn't that bad, but I still cringed my way through editing those down. And just me rambling after all the episodes as well. Honestly, I should be stopped. So yes, that is everything. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you for season 3, whenever that is. And if you do maybe want to do like a roundup video or something, or maybe I should rewatch season 1 and do some deep dives into that, let me know, because I would like to keep kind of covering a bit of Heartstopper on the channel, and keeping the wholesomeness alive for a bit. But yeah, that's going to be all for now. Let me know your thoughts on the finale and season 2 as a whole, what you're excited to see in season 3. And yeah, until whatever comes next, maybe until season 3. Thanks for watching.